Day in Southern Indiana. We're glad you're spending your lunchtime with us. And we get to hear from Derral Eves here very shortly. We've got the YouTube formula. I actually have a book on my desk. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Again, we'll get started in about 3 minutes. So if you need to refill your coffee, grab your lunch, go to the restroom, you have just a few moments. And this is our third and final session of Marketing Palooza. John, it's hard to believe this is the third week.
No, this is it. Like, what are we going to do after this?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. We've had great attendance and really great feedback so far from all of the presenters. So I'm glad that you guys are getting value out of this and enjoying it.
I guess we need to follow Derral and Jen's advice and go see what our people need and then provide that for them.
Absolutely. If you're here now, go ahead and say hello to us. Tell us where you're joining from. And maybe even tell us if you're betting on the ponies today. Who's your Oaks pick for tonight?
Because Amber needs some advice. Like,
yeah, I do.
What's going on with the horses? That's what we need to know.
I haven't even looked. So again, welcome everybody. Hi, Sarah Wooten from LL&A Interior Design. We're glad you're here. I see lots of familiar names. Glad you guys could join us. We'll hear from Derral Eves very soon. We're so excited. The YouTube formula. All right, who else do we have here? Rebecca, I see you. Beth Reedy, Becky Ellenberg, hello, hello. Again, go ahead and say hello to us in the chat. Let us know where you're streaming from, if that's your home or office, or if you're at Churchill Downs today. Rebecca's in her office. Great, good for you. Glad you're working. Hello from New Albany. Another from New Albany. Welcome, guys. Again, we'll get started in just about 2 minutes. Looking forward to our keynote speaker today. Happy Oaks Day from Jeffersonville and Leadership Southern Indiana. Travel column is your Oaks pick. Okay. Thank you, Beth, for sharing. Anybody else want to share their Oaks pick? So Derral, where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Utah. So I'm just right outside of Zion National Park. So really love where I live.
Excellent. That's great. So in Utah, what's the weather there today?
About 80 degrees. Nice and warm, which is good.
It's sunny and 70 here. So
yeah.
All right, everybody. It is noon. We'll give it just one more minute. Let people still continue to trickle on. Annette, great to hear from you. She's with Excel Excavating in Sellersburg, Indiana. Awesome. Okay. Again, welcome everybody to our third and final session of Marketing Palooza. It's been a really fun 3 weeks. I hope you guys have enjoyed it and learned a lot of things that you can apply. Let's see here. So today we're going to learn about reeling them in and bringing them home, attracting customers to your website. So we have Derral Eves with us here today. Just so everybody knows, hello, Ashley from the Jeffersonville, Indiana, Clark County Youth Shelter. Glad you're here. We are recording the event, just so everybody is aware. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please just use the chat feature. And then I believe we will promote some of these attendees that are asking questions to come on with us, right? Is that correct, John? Excellent. So we'll get to see. Yeah. So if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can also promote you to become a panelist with one of us after the presentation too. So at this time, I think we'll go ahead and get started. It's 12:01. Again, attendees will still be coming in. Again, questions in the chat feature. We are recording. And my name is Amber Miller-Ruoff. I am the events manager at One Southern Indiana. We're so glad you're here and that we can partner with Indiana University Southeast to bring you Marketing Palooza. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to John Ross to speak a little bit about IUS and also introduce our sponsors. John.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. And thank you to our sponsors. We have some wonderful sponsors that have helped make this possible. Caesars Foundation of Floyd County has always been a huge supporter from this. This has been going on for about 3 years now, including during COVID, and they've been a huge supporter the whole way. So thank you very much to Caesars Foundation of Floyd County. Thank you to IU Southeast School of Business, wonderful school of business. If you're looking for a graduate degree, please go check there. One Southern Indiana, thank you, Amber, for all of your support and everything that you guys have done to help promote the event. And finally, to leader411.com. Check them out for any leadership advice or just edutainment that you might be looking for. So thank you to everyone. And of course, thank you to Derral. So please find us on LinkedIn and any other social media outlet there is. Connect with us so you can continue hearing from us throughout and hear about future events. Back to you, Amber.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. All right, so we're going to turn it over to the man of the hour, Derral. I'm going to read a quick bio, and then we'll turn it over to you to begin your presentation. So Derral is the CEO of Creatus, a video marketing and strategy company. He's also the founder of Vid Summit, an annual event in Los Angeles for video creators and marketers. He has helped 24 YouTube channels go from 0 to more than 1 million subscribers. And he has generated 54 billion views on YouTube. That's insane. He's been featured on the Today Show, Good Morning America, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, Forbes, World Religion News, and more. He was featured on the Forbes list of the 20 must-watch YouTube channels that will change your business, alongside Tony Robbins, Marie Forleo, and Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Derral's career passion and personal mission is to help individuals, brands, and businesses make a positive impact in the world. But his greatest passion is his family, his wife, and their 5 amazing children. So Derral, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. It's Friday. Happy Friday. And for those that are watching this on the replay, happy whatever day that you're actually watching this. Now, what I want to do is just take a moment and kind of discuss a couple things that I think all of us think about as business owners or working in business, or even, as students that's business majors or whatever. And really, at the end of the day, we're looking for results, right? We want to be able to see increases and be able to be really productive on getting the return on our investment on time, and also our investment in money. And so my goal today with the hour that I have is not to waste your time, but to inspire you to think a little bit differently, because I think with marketing and context of the world, we kind of put ourselves in a box, and that box is something that we kind of play in. It's our own little sandbox. Well, today I just want to really just kind of open it up and help you see it differently, and give you some context. So I actually got my degree in marketing and advertising. I'm literally obsessed with people. I'm obsessed with why people do certain things. And I think for me, it's really adjusting and understanding humanity of why people take action. And so I'm going to give you some examples here of really, really powerful examples of 3 specific different cases. The first one is a YouTuber. Another one is a brick and mortar. We're going to talk about that. And another one's a brick and mortar. And so, I want to give you context of how you can actually succeed in marketing, because at the end of the day, it's all about people. It's all about people and people's desire to understand what's being communicated to them, i.e. marketing, and then also creating a path that they can actually take action. Now, give you a little bit of background about me. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen here. And here we go. I'm going to just play a small little video real quick. You can get know a little bit more about me than just this bio that was there.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands.
Actually, take a look at this.
Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Yeah, that shot.
Ladies and
Try to catch me howling at the
Derral
moon. Try
what I love about that is it's completely different than what you see or read verbally, but things have actually increased since they got that bio. So I actually have 61 billion video views that I've generated on YouTube, and we got a system down to really crank that out. And then also we've helped 25 channels start from zero, nothing, and get over 1 million subscribers each. We have 34 billion on Facebook. Like I said, I've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world. They call upon me to help them with their strategy. And then I also work with some of the biggest YouTube creators on the planet. And most of you might not even know who this is. Like I've done a really in-depth strategy for one of the #1 creators of all time. His name is Mr. Beast. If you don't know who he is, just ask your kid or your neighbor kid. Guaranteed they know. He actually got 1 billion video views last month. 1 billion. And we'll kind of showcase a couple things. And then also, as alluded to, I wrote a book. Let me kind of explain why I wrote this book, not just to be a bestseller or to get me business. It's to contribute back and help people really get their message out to the world. So I definitely encourage you, as you're going through that, if you feel inspired, grab a copy. And then 2, if you're really attentive today, you might not even have to buy a copy. You won't. You might just get one. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so for me, some of my biggest things that I've worked on was a campaign where we actually did $45 million in attributable sales in 12 months. And it's a pooping unicorn that was helping people understand why they needed a product, the Squatty Potty. And it's now done hundreds of millions of dollars based off of just one campaign, one way to connect with people and to engage and to go through the concepts that I'm gonna actually teach you here today. Now, as we go through this, hit the wrong buttons. As we go through this, I like to make impact. What we did last year was we were able to work with nonprofit and get 22 million trees planted. That was able to take in $22 million and then get them planted. And we had people from Elon Musk and Toby Lipke and a few big names in the business space contributing, along with millions and millions of people contributing to really get with that project. And it has everything we wanted to do and share with you today. I'm also a CEO and executive producer of one of the most disruptive television shows of all time. It's called The Chosen. And we literally broke the crowdfunding record in film and television. And all the principles that I'm sharing with you today leads back to very simple things of understanding your audience, connecting with your audience, and then creating opportunity for that connection to be even deeper. And so that's something we used here. We broke the all-time crowdfunding record in film and television, over $10 million. We had 19,000 people contribute to that. And we were able not only to do season 1, but we were able to bring in, using our marketing strategy and tactics and so on, we were able to be self-sufficient. And we're now finishing up season 2 of the show. And what's even crazy is we don't have a big studio or distribution outlet that's doing it. We're doing it through the mobile app. We've been in the top mobile app downloads in the top 20 for the last year. We've had over 20 million people download the app. And because of that, even though it's free, we still had enough money to raise the money that we needed to actually produce season 2, which is over $22 million. And so this is a mechanism that can work. And I don't want you to really just kind of lock yourself in and says, well, that's great for you, but I don't see how to apply it. Like if you're even thinking about that, then I need you to take a step back and just be open and willing to receive. Now, this is a pretty massive project that I've done. I was going to show you a little clip, but like we got to move on just because of the nature of the time that we have. So I want to share with you harnessing the power of video. Why video? Now, I know that a lot of you are like, we don't have video strategies or we don't need this or that. But the reason why I like video is because it actually changes perception of the viewer. And I do believe the most effective marketing of all time is word of mouth. People talking about it, virtual word of mouth is where they're kind of giving recommendations. But the best medium outside of face-to-face that I've ever found in marketing is video. And that's why I kind of gravitate towards it. You can see in my book when I kind of had that discovery moment of seeing kind of a cultural phenomenon and how that really impacted not only my life, but those that are around me, I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And so today we're going to talk about harnessing the power of video and using it to really further your agenda. Basically, whatever your agenda may be, it could be raising money for a nonprofit. It could be, bringing better, better customers in, or the right customers in, getting more conversions, where it go from there. And we're going to talk about that very specifically. Now, for this to happen, this is the biggest mistake that a lot of people make. And they think that content that you're just doing, hey, I just put up a sign, they're going to come in, I do good work, and you get good word of mouth. Yes, that will take you only so far. You're going to need generations to build up that reputation. But what if you don't have generations of time and the money that's needed to withstand that? What do you need to do? Well, this is the whole thing is content. Then it's also doing distribution, and then the offer. And we should always think like that when we're talking about marketing. We should always think about how do we the content is how we're going to get our message out, right? Is the message itself is the content. Okay. The message could be an ad. It could be a Facebook post. It could be, emails or correspondence. That's that content. The distribution method is, okay, it could be, the postal service. It could be Facebook. It could be a tweet. It could be text messaging. That's distribution. And then the offer is what we're offering that's enticing enough to bring them in as a specific acquisition. So that's something that we're going to discuss in detail. Now, what I always do is I like to test things. And I'm going to share with you how we were able to do $3.7 million in 2 hours. And that's the whole thing. And I'm going to really explain how that happens. And I'm going to share with you the strategy I call toe in the water. So I always like to do a toe in the water campaign to be able to understand, can I actually do what we need to actually put in an effort of, does this work? We have a hypothesis that we understand what type of messaging is that content. We know what type of distribution that we can do. And then we have an offer at the end of it. What could we do? So I always do it where I just really try to do it very, I guess, marginalized, where it doesn't take a lot of resources and time. It's just like, hey, we have an idea. Let's just test this out. And that's what I would call the toe in the water campaign. And we were able to do that. And what we did was, hey, we thought we could do like $3.7 million if we did this right. But we actually ended up with $5.7 million in 2 hours. And what we did was we did a live stream. And we were just being real, and we were doing an offer, and that offer would lead to, a signed t-shirt. And that alone generated $5.7 million. Now, that was something that we estimated that we could do, just the size of the audience. And we just figured out, okay, the best way to do that isn't in video form, but in a closer video form, which I really do love live streaming. It really pulls you in closer to really, feel a part of something bigger, a community, a cultural gathering, and so on. So that toe in the water campaign is really, really important. And that's something that we always did. So we tested it out. Hey, let's just do it for a couple hours. Let's see what we could do. We yielded results. Then we knew that we can perfect it. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they put their toe in the water campaign and they immediately go out. Well, no, we analyze what worked, what didn't work. How can we make it better? How can we actually get it so that we have higher ROI? What's some of the things that we said verbally in our content, in our content itself? How is our distribution outlet going? Can we amplify that? We were asking all those questions based off of the toe in the water campaign. And that toe in the water campaign led to what we did was we wanted to create a video. And this video was, having a purpose. So that we're trying to figure it out. So he was going to give 40 cars away to his 40 millionth subscriber. And so that's kind of a big deal. And what we were able to do is be able to go through the merch and really put it in a way. We were able to put it in his videos itself. And then also it led to a live stream that we did, and we did $18 million. And so how did that work? It was because we had the right content that was connecting with the right people. We had the right distribution mechanism that got to the right people at the right place at the right time. You'll hear me talk a lot about that. And then ultimately the offer was great. It was exactly what people needed. It wasn't just a t-shirt, it was a signed t-shirt, so there's that sense of exclusivity. And then also, understanding that we weren't going to ever sign t-shirts ever again. Now you might say, okay, that's great. That's with a big YouTuber that has, 55 million, subscribers plus, whatever it is. What about me? What about business owners? And so these toe in the water campaigns work every single time. You just need to be able to have the patience and understanding and really going through it. So what I'd like to do is share you a story about Jenny. And this is something I think we can all relate to at this time or another. But Jenny actually had a disruption in her family. Jenny actually had one of her children ended up having some medical issues, and those medical issues led to a lot of past due bills. And those past due bills, ended up really going from there. So they had cancer, and there's cancer treatments and the medical issues that was at. And it became very, very burdensome for them. And she was working 4 jobs. Her husband was working 4 jobs. They're trying to just even keep up. And they ended up going bankrupt. And it was devastating for her, like devastating, being a mother and really be put into a situation. And so they needed to get out of California because it was the cost of living was way too expensive. So they said, okay, in the Mideast, or the Midwest, I'm sorry, in the Midwest, there is, it's cheaper to live there, and we can probably find something, and we can kind of reestablish what we're doing. And that's where they moved to Hamilton, Missouri. And the population was 1,700-ish people. And they tried to get their lives back to normal. And her husband went to go work at the local newspaper, and he was a machinist and could print and so on and so forth. So he got a job, and things were starting to look up, and they're just trying to navigate all the new challenges. Well, she went out and was looking at how she could provide. And then the worst news ever happened. Her husband got laid off. And so both of them were without income, and they had a little bit of 401k savings that they could live on, but they were at their last ditch effort. And so all of us, at different times, and then this is where the story turns. She was doing odd jobs to try to figure out. She was a seamstress in California that she'd do costumes for the plays and movies and so on and so forth. And basically in Hamilton, Missouri, of 1,700 people, there wasn't a lot of opportunity there. And so she really liked to do stuff with her hands. And so she started doing quilting. And the quilting was really good. And when her husband got laid off, she knew that she had to pick up some quilts. And so she took one of her sons with her and to go pick up the quilts. And he goes, what quilt are we picking up? And she goes, I don't know. It's been 2 years since we actually submitted that. And he goes, well, why has it been 2 years? He goes, well, because, they're backlogged. They can only bind the quilts that much. And so in the son's mind, what if I got my mom a binding machine for quilting? So he went basically to all the kids and says, hey, let's help mom and dad out. And she could actually just bind quilts. And there's enough people that do quilts here. It can go from there. Now, this is where it gets really exciting. And this is where I think a lot of you are at, is they took a step forward and realized this is going to be amazing and we're going to do it. So she ended up getting a quilt machine, and they realized that quilt binding machine was too big to fit into their garage. So they had to go lease a space for her to in Hamilton, Missouri. Well, luckily, there's a lot of spaces to lease because the business was like non-existent in Hamilton, Missouri. And she basically put it into it. And also the machine that they got was actually more money than the building that they could actually buy from to kind of house that. And so that right there was something that she did. And she opened up a little quilt shop. And this quilt shop was you know, odds and ends. And, you know, the UPS guy would come in and deliver things. And he goes, man, you guys are not going to be in business for very long. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen. No one's doing a brick or mortar anymore. And he pretty much told her that, you know, it'd be probably a couple months before she would go under. And she just kind of set up shop. She put her quilting fabrics and people would come in and they just tried everything. And the UPS guy was looking like he was going to be right. And even though it was harsh, it was like, okay, maybe this wasn't the best idea. And even though that it's keeping us busy, we're not making any money. Well, this is where things changed. And this is where I want you to do it. They needed to look outside the box. They needed to be able to see things differently in so many different ways. And so what happened was they basically decided to go from a brick and mortar, which they'd keep the brick and mortar, and start doing more value to people. Now, I know this seems really different. They're like, well, the value is the service that they're providing. And that's where she was thinking different. Well, no, if we could actually do tutorials and teach people things, then that's where we can bring in more value. And as we get more value, then we can actually create an opportunity to go. Now, that is where things changed for her. And so she started to build an email list and to do all the things that you're supposed to do on Facebook and, you know, doing these groups and so on. And she was doing a blog and, you know, putting out these tutorials. And then if you signed up for her email list, then she would give you tips and techniques to how to be a better quilter. That's how it all started. And it was like every day she's like, how can I bring more value to the list that I'm actually creating? Now, whether it's a customer list or whether it's a potential customer list or it's one that they're just interested in what you're doing, that's what she did. And she's like, okay, let's take it to that next level. Now, this is where I want to really break it down, because when you do the value proposition right, when you really do, to bring value, you got to understand what your brand stands for. You have to understand what your company is. You need to understand what your rhetoric is and your messaging and your marketing, right? And then two, you need to understand the dynamic of the customer and what they care about. And then there's like this little sweet spot right there in this Venn diagram. That sweet spot is where everything can change, because it could be the offer. The offer should be that sweet spot of what people care about. Let's go back to that one, what people can care about, and then the amount of value you can bring to them. So she was thinking, what can I do, you know, literally to transform that? Well, she decided she wanted to do daily deals, and she wanted to be able to send emails out of talking about daily deals and saving money. Because in her mind, the most valuable thing that she could do was to give them an offer. Okay, give them an offer that was too good to pass up. How many of you fell into that trap? Okay, because you're like, I'm going to give them an offer that they can't refuse. Okay, come on now, come on. We've all been there, right? Well, the difference was she decided to do it differently. She wanted to be able to do it via email, but what she was going to do is not only in that email, she wanted to be able to really harness something a little bit in a unique way, which was taking the email and doing some quilting tutorials that she could embed in the emails or send them to a YouTube channel. So she started a YouTube channel, and this is just kind of a sample of the videos that she was creating, but she wasn't really good in front of the camera. She got so nervous that the first time that she was going to go film a YouTube video, and she was just petrified by it, that she tripped and fell and broke her leg. And they took her to the hospital, gave her a cast, and she came back and filmed the video. And so she had the determination to make it happen, but she was really nervous that she wouldn't perform very well on camera. Well, that's where everything changed. And so once she was able to do that, she made these tutorials. I'll let you take a look at one real quick. It's not the best editing in the world.
Hi, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. We have another fun tutorial for you today. There was a gal who came into our shop and she wanted to make a baby quilt and she wanted to do pinwheels, and I was watching her and all of a sudden that light went on. Usually it goes on in the middle of the night, but it went on in the daytime today, so that's a good thing. Anyway, it's had an easy way to make pinwheels, and wonderful Moda is making these fabulous solid colored charm packs. So here's how we're gonna make pinwheels fast and easy. You're just not gonna believe this. So you take a charm.
Okay, see how simple that was? And she did a couple things where she was actually showcasing product that she was going to work on. Okay. And this is where things changed and transformed for her. And this is where the plan is she was going to do a tutorial. They're going to email it out to the people. They'd bring value. It would go to the website, and then they would create an offer. Now, if you remember, content, and then you had distribution, and then you had offer. And that's where it could get so beautiful. However, what people found was the tutorials were good. And then she was able to take it to the next level, which I want to show you here. So here's the same video. It's just a little bit further in the video. See what happens next.
Have it? We'll go press that open and head back to the table. I've been having some fun with this charm pack, this Love Charm Pack by Amy Butler. It's got such fun colors in it, and I just keep making pinwheels and making pinwheels. So you can see how quick and easy this is, and how fun, what a fun little quilt this is gonna make. Literally, this gal put her baby quilt together in one evening. It was just so quick this way, where you just sew that 1/4 inch around the outside. And if you have any concern about the
Okay, look, the quality of the video wasn't good, right? The audio wasn't that great either. But the whole thing is she was showing people how to do pinwheel. She actually showed them a product that they could buy, was able to give some context on it, and then showcase the outcome of what was happening. So, the tutorial went to the website, went to the offer. Now, what happened next was things started to transform because she took the next step. The next step that everyone should take is, how do you actually amplify what you're doing? And she decided to add something to it, which is a tutorial, which would go from an ad targeting the people that would either come to the website, was on the email list or whatever, and then actually translate them to go to an offer, which was to the website and make the offer too good to pass up. And she decided to scale. And this is where I want everyone to start thinking. She wanted to go to the right person at the right place at the right time. And that's where she was able to really capitalize. She knew that the tutorials were good, people were interested in it, and she actually did an offer. And I want to show you, this is one of the best video ads I've ever seen from a mom and pop shop ever. And I want you to see it. So when anyone went to the website and abandoned the cart, or went to the website that they didn't become a customer, anyone that watched a video on YouTube, like several of them, we did it like a combinational thing. She was able to sell them with this ad. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. You may know me from our easy to follow quilting tutorials online, but there's so much more to us than just great ideas and fun patterns. Did you know we're also a quilt shop? But not just any shop. We have the largest selection of pre-cut fabrics in the world, both online and at our lovely store in Hamilton, Missouri. But what's even cooler than that? We have the Quilter's Daily Deal. What's that, you ask? Well, it's a new deal that comes up every night at midnight, and you save from 30 to 100%. 100% is free. So click on this ad for more information on our daily deals.
See, it's a pretty effective ad. And what happened next was she knew that she had over 1 million potential buyers. And so even though that Hamilton, Missouri was only 1,700 people, she decided, no, I'm gonna sell to the world. And she was able to get 14,400 online sales in the first 6 months. And that transformed everything. And what happened next was she was able to start hiring people to help fulfillment. And she was able to put a little bit more energy and effort in creating that content that would connect and amplifying the distributor, which is YouTube, to really bring in more people and also refine the website. And then really make the offer just right. So as she was able to expand, she was able to grow. And then she was able to grow, she was getting more views. And as that happened, people looked for her as that trusted source when it came to quilting. And this is what I love is today, she has over 400 employees, okay? Over 400. She went from herself just right out of bankruptcy, to 400 employees, and they're getting 12,000 plus orders a day. But more importantly, she's the world's largest quilting fabric retailer in the world, out of Hamilton, Missouri. Now, what you don't know is she's also created a Disneyland in Hamilton, Missouri. And people travel all over the world and go to quilting Mecca. So she owns hotels, she owns restaurants, she owns just different places that come in, and people come in. I think she has like 6 or 7 quilt shops. And it's like literally Disneyland for the quilting world. And that actually happens here today. So why is that possible? Is because she was thinking outside of the brick and mortar. She was thinking outside of just the next person that's in town. She was looking at, how do I bring value to more people? And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't. You can actually bring value to more people, and it's all through understanding content. Now, let me give you another example of this. Here's a towing company. Okay, this towing company goes out and does recoveries. That happens, right? This person actually just lives just right down the road from me. And he just would come in and he's like, what if I actually started to record my recoveries? What can that do? Where can that be? And I want to teach people how to get out of these weird spots and stuff like that. So that's kind of the essence of what he did. Well, what happened next was, we live in a beautiful area. There's a lot of outdoor. He found that he was doing a lot of recoveries outdoors. And so he just kind of went from that focus. What was interesting, though, is as he was able to put out content and showing his recoveries, he was able to get growth. I mean, look at that growth. I mean, for a tow truck company, that's not really bad at all, right? And as he started to refine, it got pretty big. So you can see this point, but what's interesting, it was continuing to grow. I mean, he had over 1 million views in 1 month, and they go, oh my gosh, that's so great, people that's coming in. Well, what happened next is it continued to grow and continue to grow. That arrow right there was that first bump. When you look at that first bump right here, is this arrow right here. And I'm here to tell you, it did transform, because what happened next was he was able to grow an audience. He has over 600,000, plus subscribers. He's getting hundreds of thousands of video views per video, sometimes millions. And he decided, hey, let's do a little bit of merchandising. So he put out just kind of what his vehicle is in a Matchbox car. And he did a tow and water campaign that did $102,000 in 48 hours. Same type of concept that we did before, right? And then next he introduced a rope and did 1.4 million in the rope in 3 months. Now, is his tow truck business, I think in the month of November, he did 10x in revenue than he did the prior year, just in 1 month. It was just unbelievable, because he transitioned his business, and he realized he's a content producer. And also, he's bringing value to people, but this is a new business. And it creates new opportunities. And that's where thinking outside the box a little bit can make the biggest difference. Okay. So it's not necessarily about your project. It's not necessarily about your company. What I want to do is just take a minute and just kind of really start ramping into this. Like I said, I've worked with the biggest brands and businesses in the world. I've worked with the biggest YouTube creators in the world. And I can tell you where I got my start was working with the mom and pop shops. That's where it was. And I got really good at that. And I want to share with you a couple examples, because that was like near and dear to me, is seeing people that just want to bring value to the community. But I realized that when you think so local and you don't really think about the value you can bring, then you're really missing an opportunity. So one of my friends, a dear friend, but he's also a mentor of mine, owns a furniture shop. And this furniture shop's been in my local town for over 45 years. And his dad ran it, and he ran it, and then now his son's running it. And it's just been one of those established stores. And he's like, dude, we have ups and downs and sideways. And it's like, either it's up, was really good, we have downs, and then just sideways, it's just going whatever it is. And it's just, that's the cycle of everything. And I said, well, what if we did it different? What if we actually took and create more value and extend your customer size? And he's like, I don't know how we're going to do that. Why would people want to travel all the way here to do some value? So we actually did a couple video strategies for them. It ranked really well. And he was able to not only move his customer size to hundreds of miles away from his location, and he has people driving in from Las Vegas and California to shop in Hurricane, Utah. Why? Because the value's there, the offer's there, the personality's there. That works. It works 100% of the time when you can actually go from understanding what you're doing, you're understanding the distribution of it, and you have the right offer, but more importantly, you bring it all together so that you're getting that message out and you're amplifying it. Now, I give you several examples, and what I want to do is take the last few minutes to really answer your questions, because I think you might say, okay, this is great. I don't understand how it applies to me. I want to answer those questions. So if you have a question, what we can do is have John or someone bring you up, and we can have a conversation, because I think the most important for me is I want you to apply a lot of the things that you're actually learning here in these marketing conferences that you've been in, but also apply it in the way that you can actually amplify it. And there hasn't been a business I haven't been able to grow. It's just really looking at it differently. So this is your shot to talk with me about very complicated things to make it more simple and really more applicable, and you can actually do a lot more tasks. So should we take, Amber, should we take up a couple people? So if they have something, should they raise their hand or something? We can bring them up and we can have these conversations.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much, Derral. If you would like to come on screen and ask a question, we would love for you to. You can raise your hand, you can put your name in the chat, and I will easily promote you to a panelist, and you can ask your question to Derral himself. So, all right, Sarah Wooten, I'm going to go ahead and promote you.
This will be great. We'll get Sarah coming on. Hey, Sarah, guess what? You got to unmute yourself. Guess what, Sarah? You get a copy of my book because you actually took action. Like, there's something about learning and taking action. So they're going to get you a copy of this, right, John? We got copies to give out. All right. Okay, Sarah, go ahead and ask your question. Uh-oh.
Can't hear you, Sarah. Can you hear us okay?
She's really nervous. Just give her.
Yeah. Let's see how it is. She's probably trying to fix it.
Presentation. She's like, oh man, now I'm on the big stage. Everyone can see me.
No, that's not what it is. Well, why she's trying to figure out her audio, I think, like, we have a tendency to overcomplicate marketing. We have a tendency to overcomplicate business. What we need to do just really is to bring value, and what's the best way to bring value, and really how to amplify that. So, I mean, that's really big. We have a couple of people like a CPA down there, the MCM CPA.
I can go ahead and promote. Sarah said she doesn't know why she can't talk. We are an interior design firm in downtown Jeffersonville. How can we grow on social media following?
How can we grow on social media following? So I think the big thing is interior design is an Instagram, Pinterest thing. And so what I would do if it was me is go out there and find the biggest and the best interior designers in the world that have the best Instagram accounts and see what they're doing. And so what I like to do is like get a list of 20 or 30 and look for patterns. See, oh, they post these types of pictures at this time. They do IGTV at this time, and you're making notes. Like, that's all you're doing is making notes. You're not taking a lot of action till then. And then you're like, well, how do I actually amplify that? Now, I can honestly say that it's all come back down to how you actually give content to people and the value that you're doing. So if you think the value is, oh, look at this cool picture, that's not going to work, right? But if it's showing the style and you're like a nerd or a geek and you're literally geeking out over interior design, showcasing some cool things and things that you're doing, and you're helping people to see that on a journey, that's not only going to grow a social audience, but it's also going to get you a bigger clientele. And it will be from worldwide. Like, we just hired an interior designer and she's in LA. And we just liked her Instagram stuff. It was just really good. And so we're working with her right now. So, I mean, that's how it works. But okay, so we have Chuck is on. Do you have your audio, Chuck? You can ask your question.
I do. Hopefully you can hear me.
We can.
Great. Well, Derral, appreciate your information. Great presentation. So I'm director of marketing for a regional CPA and professional advisory firm. And we talk about we're not selling widgets, but we're selling competency or thought leadership. And we've really fine-tuned our team to really dabbling in video and editing it kind of internally. And we've used it for a lot of initiatives that have got some great feedback for internal education. But, you know, it's a limited, you know, we're like, we want to turn external now. But when you're not selling, the sales cycle is long. You're selling kind of relationships and not, you know, widgets where you can't go check out. How would you differentiate? You know, is there different strategies when you're selling a service versus a product?
So service generated customer-based acquisition is a very interesting thing, right? It's a very fluid thing. But realistically, at the end of the day, it's about trust, whether it's a product or whether it's a service. It's about trust. Can we trust this person has the information that's going to help us out of our problem and our situation? And so what I always like to do is create an avatar and understanding who that person would be. And it doesn't matter if they're buying a product. It doesn't matter if they're buying the service. Like, what is their issue? What is their problem? And then I like to write down all the problems that they have. Like, what's some of the most frequent things that they're asking? You know, and what would that be? And then so you can start understanding the complexities of what's going on in their life. And then two, you have a lot of internal data, and you should be a data guy since you do the marketing and you're with a marketing firm or a CPA firm, right? But it's like, what's your core audience like right now? Are they blue collar? Are they, you know, just, you know, people trying to survive? Are they entrepreneurs, or what is that? And then, like, what is some commonalities based on all the wealth of information that you have, years and years of experience? What are some common problems and shifts that they actually occur? And so once you do that, I would start making a list of all the quick questions that they have, and be able to answer those for them. And so I would actually create video content that would be all frequently asked questions. And you're taking them through the journey of understanding what they need to know. And then that actually increases the trust. And then at the end of the video, I want you to make another video that you're talking about, okay, let me just give you a thing. It's like, you know, basically, how do I actually file my, you know, my tax returns or whatever? And you're just giving them options or whatever. And at the end of the video, I would say you make another video that's placed on the same channel, and it's things that they should know. 5 biggest mistakes for doing your own personal taxes. And basically I would say, okay, now that you understand this, we made this other video. It's like the 5 biggest mistakes that people make in filing your taxes. You know, that right there is going to get the person not only consume 1 video, but 2. And your trust level actually was amplified because you was able to give a solution to a problem, but also give them something that they didn't know they needed, but they needed to have it. And that's where you're able to go. So I would do, you know, 30, 40, 50, 100 most common questions that you have. And then I would take 30, 40, 50, 100, you know, things that you could respond to each one of those. That could be a separate video. And you actually have videos to last you for about 2 years, you know, and then you can start recycling them and go from there. And then 2, just because of the nature of tax and tax reform and tax law, like, you're updating stuff all the time. And like right now, I'm petrified of capital gains now. Like, I'm thinking about selling now so I don't get nailed down the road. You know, so it's like, this is stuff that you already know, because like I already called up my accountant, says, what we're gonna do? What's our game plan? Like Biden was doing this. Like, what are we gonna do here now? You know, she's like, just hold down, just don't freak out. It's gonna take at least a couple of years before it to implement. And I'm like, well, we'll see how it goes. But those are the types of problems and issues that you can address. And then that thought leadership translates into actually paying clients.
Well, I really appreciate that. And is the production quality make a big difference, meaning kind of internal doing ourselves, or is like, yeah, it's great, but you really need someone who can edit it well and make it, you know.
Don't waste people's time. Don't be long-winded. Get right to the point and explain what it is. That can be done through a good script or both a script and an edit. You don't, like, I know accountants that just use their iPhone and it's just iPhone quality, but it's providing value that people want, and they're delivering it in a way that really helps them understand. So,
thank you.
Hey, let's make sure that Chuck gets a book too, because like he asked the question, right?
Absolutely. I've got
So-
your name down, Chuck and Sarah. So both of you can come by next week to pick up your books at the 1SI office. And if anybody else wants a book, feel free to raise your hand. Yes,
All right,
John.
John.
I
want a book?
have a book. I don't need a book. I do have a question though. So this is something that actually many people, and yes, Sarah, you can try again. This is something that many people have mentioned to me about this conference in particular. People are worried about wasting time. That, you know, their time is precious to them. So they put all this effort, they do 2 videos and they don't work. What do you suggest for those people that are just starting out their video campaigns and trying to get it to work so they don't feel like they're wasting their time?
So the more that you can do on taking time to create a plan and understanding the audience instead of just putting out a video is key. It's something I call recon and research, and I want to really understand what's going on. In my book, we go way in depth of the demographics, the psychographics, what they do online, what they do offline. Those are the types of conversations that you need to have, because the better that you understand the situation of the person, the easier it is for you to understand what the person would deem as valuable. And that would help really craft your messaging and also your content to engage. And so, yes, it takes a lot of time, but the whole thing is you got to give enough time to do what it needs to do. And like in Jenny's case, it was, hey, if I provide a tutorial, you know, and it's also a product that I sell, then it's a sell without real, it's doing it more organic. And that's where she was able to get, I mean, her value right now is over $120 million. And so it's like, you know, go from bankruptcy to over $120 million a year is amazing when you understand what people want and you're providing value, and then just opening up the floodgates and distributing it more worldwide. So, all right, Sarah, you are up, girl. Or you're still muted. Dang it.
Still can't hear you.
There we go. Is that, can we hear?
me.
Oh, okay. All right, while she's trying to figure it out, can we pull up another person?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and promote Ashley. Sarah, while you work on that, if you go to your mute button, you might be able to figure out a different speaker, and that might be able to help you. So Ashley, we'll go ahead and promote you. Give her just a second.
Robin's asked a question. It says, hi, I don't want to be on a video, but we'll ask you on my behalf. I work for a national nonprofit. We have a Vimeo page and embedded video on our website and the posts on social. Do you think we need to have a YouTube channel as well? Yes, Vimeo sucks. Vimeo is great to put videos that's there, but if you want Vimeo to find you new viewers, it's never going to do that. It's not built to do that. YouTube, when you put something up there, the whole reason that the algorithm exists is to predict what people want to watch. And if they're more in line to watching your content, then you can go from there. I want you to check out a channel for a nonprofit. It's called Invisible People. They're actually in the book. They kind of combat homelessness in a unique way. They're about, I think they just crossed 1 million subscribers. And so when you kind of see how they do things, not only do they pass 1 million subscribers, but they're getting tons of people being aware of what they're trying to do and actually getting involved by giving and contributing. So.
All right. Well, I have promoted Keziah Jones. Are you available? Okay, great. Great to see you again. She was on our very first session, I know. So great to see you again.
Good to see you too. So I had a question actually for you about The Chosen.
Yes.
So it's a publicly funded project, and I'm a huge fan of the show, and I follow all of the social media pages. And so I was wondering, like, how are marketing strategies utilized to promote The Chosen? Like, because obviously you have to do that to get the public funding.
Yeah. So it is the strategy I taught you, right? So the first thing that we did is we identified our ideal target avatar. So our ideal target avatar is a female 25 to 45 because they're the ones that will probably help us get to where we need to be. Okay. Just that was the assumption that we made. And they're the volunteer type. So they volunteer in school, they volunteer in their community, they volunteer in church. That's what we were looking to do. And so the place that we knew that we had the content, we knew we had the messaging. Where do we distribute it? That's why we started on Facebook, and Facebook was the first place that we did. And by targeting them, not only through content, but understanding the back end, which is distributing it in different ways with ads and so on and so forth, we were able to not only generate interest, but we actually received partners in the show. And so as they went through and help invest into the project, they became our partners, but they also become evangelists for the project too, because once they're a part of it, they're sharing with everyone. And my question back to you, though, is how did you find The Chosen? Because I want to see if what we did actually worked. So tell us.
Well, I word of mouth first. A good friend of mine started watching it and told me about it. And then I actually forgot about it until I saw an ad on Facebook. So
amazing. Wow. And how old are you?
19.
Okay. So here's the thing is like when we actually did our target demo, that was to raise the money. Do you want to take a guess what our target demo is for people to watch the show? You want to take a guess?
I don't know.
Gen Z and younger millennials. That is our core group. That's what we want. And so that's what we're going after. You'll see that we're a little bit more disruptive in that way, but you are our audience of who we want to see because of this. The show's different. It's not like your mom or grandpa's Jesus show. Like it's totally different, right? And has a different feel, and it's about character, it's about authenticity, stuff that you care about. But that generation, the Generation Z, the millennial, like the younger millennials, they want to get behind a cause. And we want to get it out to 1 billion people. That's our goal. That's our cause. We want to get this show out to 1 billion people. And we're not going to stop till it happens. And so what we're trying to do is craft our content that weaves in our messaging, and that messaging will enable people to help distribute. And once they distribute, then it kind of creates this feedback loop that takes it off the charts. And that's where we were able to get. We're right now, we're growing at a faster rate. If I don't know if you guys know the Roger adoption curve. It's back in 1955 when that came out, but it's like the bell curve of how things get adopted. We're literally 2 years ahead of where I thought we would be. Just because it's working that great, and it's based off of the content that we're creating. And it did exactly what you did. You heard it word of mouth, then we nailed you with an ad, and we're pretty dang good at that. And then that brought you and sucked you in. And how many people have you shared it with?
A lot of people. My all 6 people in my family love it, and my parents love it. And we got our grandparents to watch it, and our aunts and uncles and cousins.
So you literally did exactly what I just preached here today on this presentation. Like this is not rocket science. You did. We figured out who would find value in it. We crafted that content. That content connected with them on a deeper level that they had to share. Humanity, we have to share. And that's that distribution element. But more importantly, we amplify that distribution element through paid ads. And so you have all that coming together, and you're creating an ecosystem that has to grow because it's growing through word of mouth. And then you amplify that word of mouth by visibility. So.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
What was your question though? I guess, was that your only question that you had?
Yeah, I just wanted to hear how the marketing strategies were used for The Chosen, because I know if it's public funded, it's completely dependent upon that. So I just wanted to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so basically what we do is the moment that we decided to give it away for free, that's when we made the money. And so it was more about, we have a program called Pay It Forward. So you were able to watch it for free. You just did. And what happened is when you play it in the app, and the reason why we do the app is because then anyone from anywhere in the world can download it, and it can be downloaded in their native language. They can watch it and say, hey, this episode is brought to you by Derral from Utah, or Alice from Texas, or whatever. It doesn't matter. What happens is there's kind of a paywall it hits where they have to either wait to watch the show, or as they unlock it. So if I actually unlock it faster where I can watch the whole show, I open it up for 10 people. And so it creates this viral feedback where if one person pays, it opens up for 10. And if 2 people of those 10 pay, it opens up for 20. And it just kind of goes from there. And let me take a look, because I think we're at 144 million. Let me look. It was like 144 million is where we're at. Let's see here. I lied. It's 41 million video views that we had just in the app. Total of about 190 million, just the way that we're doing the distribution right now. So just shy of 200 million. So not bad for just brand new TV show. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Well, guess what? We're going to do things. Number one, I'm going to get you a copy of the book. I mean, they get a book copy, but I want you to give them your address. And then if you wouldn't mind sending it back, and I'm going to get you some chosen merch. So did you have any of the merch?
No, I don't.
Okay. This is probably one of the biggest things that I want to share with you. Most people, when they look at merchandising, they think about money, and I don't. And we don't do it at all that way. Money's a byproduct of taking something further. So this is our gift factory that we have all different types of merch and stuff like that. But for us, it's a conversation starter. So come and see. That's like something with the last episode that we did, where Philip invited Nathaniel to come and see. As one way and as another as a part of the show. But you can see that all of them are conversation starters. So like get used to different common phrase, and then binge Jesus is another one, and then kind of against the current. But this right here is a way that we're able to communicate. But we know that if we can facilitate people that are fans of the show to wear a walking billboard, then they're going to talk about the show, because it's going to start a conversation. So that's kind of where things roll. And so everything is marketing, and whether we like it or not, everything is messaging. So the content is, hey, what if we did a disruptive t-shirt that makes a statement? Then it's going to open up conversations that they can have to spread the show. So it's, i.e., not only giving us money to do the show, but also giving more visibility for the show for people to watch it. So if we can do that, John or Amber was going to give me your contact information, and I'll get you some merch. How's that sound?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yes, because I just send me an email. I think have been emailing a little bit. Just send me your address and I'll get that over to his team. Okay.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Oh, and give me your shirt size too, because I don't know that, and I'd be sending you probably the wrong size. So do that as well. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do I need to email that?
Not just in the email when
Just
you
send it
work
to
with
me.
Amber.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. I think Sarah wanted to try again. Sarah, are you
Come on, Sarah. Third time's the charm here, girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sarah gets A for effort. So she's at least trying.
I'm giving her a book anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the persistence is incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
she's
that's right.
not giving up.
While we're waiting, oh, there she is.
Yep. No.
No.
Almost like you have a microphone, or the microphone's not connected.
Yeah.
I can see your samples in the back though.
Well, thank you for at least trying, Sarah. I have a book for you at the office. We appreciate it. So thank you. If you have another question, feel free to put that in the chat. And then we do have another question, it looks like. So it says they don't want to be on, but they would like to know, they need to hire 50 people in manufacturing. How do they entice them to come and be on board at a manufacturer?
Yeah. So once again, it's like literally creating communication that would bring the right people to work for you. So is it showcasing things, or is it testimonials of other people? I like to see what the mechanism of content would be. I always try to see what would be the ideal employee. Like who are they? What's their situation? So once again, demographics, psychographics, what they do online, what they do offline. And then I go find a model employee or two or three, and then let them pretty much say how it is working for you. And if it's not good, that you probably need to enhance that. But if it's good in so many different ways, then what you're doing is just showcasing their story that will inspire more people. And you're like, hey, we're looking for new people. But I can guarantee you, visuals is a lot better than just a written description of what the job is. And when you get testimonials, that's something that is way underutilized, and I think people should use a lot, is testimonials of not only current employees, but customers as well.
Real quick, Derral, I want to be respectful of your time. So we're at 1 o'clock, which is the time that we said we'd finish. Do you have time for one more question?
Absolutely. As long as it's Marley, we'll be okay.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say we have Marley. She's really excited. She's already got her camera up. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us again. Last question down below. Make sure you visit our sponsors, our One Southern Indiana and Caesars Southern Indiana as well. Leadership 411 or Leader 411, and then also Indiana University School of Business. Thank you very much for joining. Go ahead, Marley.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So I have just recently been put into a marketing position. So I don't have the background, but I'm learning every day. But it's actually for a construction company. So I am still working through the kind of content that we can do, because our goals right now are recruiting younger employees to come work for us. And just because the shortage right now is pretty
crazy right now.
Common right now. So we're wanting to recruit, we're wanting to showcase the work that we do. But right now I'm pretty much building an Instagram from the ground up for our construction company. And then I have started to ramp up our Facebook.
So let me just stop you right there.
Okay.
So I would assume you're looking to hire someone like 18 to 30 or something like that. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. So there's not too many males on Instagram, and there's not too many males on Facebook. That's kind of a heavy driven, but they're on TikTok. So whatever you do, translate it over to TikTok as well. And they're all also on YouTube. And so you definitely want to do it. Now, there is a high percentage, and it could change per area, but they might just use it as a way to communicate or whatever that might be there. But most of them, like for content consumption, it's more YouTube and TikTok than it is Facebook and Instagram.
So with YouTube, would we just showcase different videos of our job sites and stuff that we've done?
I think it's like if you're trying to find people to work for you and not working for jobs, it doesn't sound like the jobs is what your first task is. It's like, hey, we need more people to help us so that we can do our jobs on time, right? So I would just kind of showcase the atmosphere and the fun things that happen on a construction site. There's a lot of stuff, and there's people that are looking for it, but it's like targeting into a way that it could be, a fun atmosphere for them, that they realize, okay, it's not going to be just the stiff culture or whatever. And you can showcase that. And so what type of construction do you guys do?
We do I don't know the full terms yet, but I'm still even learning that right now. But we do a lot of underground work, and we've done all sorts of stuff, really. Like we're a general contractor, but at the same time, there's other things that we do too.
Yeah. So I would just take your phone, and that's what I would do, is just take the phone, do vertical format. You could do it as an IGTV. You can do it as a TikTok. You could do it as a YouTube short, and then just kind of it's more about the project in one aspect, but it's really more about the people they'd be working with. And so I kind of look at, hey, who's that fun personality, and what's the type of, thing? Because it's what they're doing is, it's not about the money. It's not about the job. It's about, hey, will I enjoy what I'm doing? And feeling fulfillment in something is really big. So having them see, hey, here's some cool projects we work on, but we're not all fun and games. And then you might do a juxtaposition to someone just having some fun, because it's like, hey, we're fun, we're family, we're friends, whatever it is, but we're building the world one brick at a time, or whatever it is, something like that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
But don't waste a lot of time on it. Like the best way to do it is to once again really get your staff, your employees, talking about their experiences there and the reward, how rewarding it is, because you are competing with so many different construction companies right now, and what they care about is, am I going to get paid on time? Is it going to be great work atmosphere? Is the money there too? And is it going to be consistent? And they like consistency for that. And that's what I would focus in on, those areas. And then, you know, seeing a grander vision than just grinding the 9 to 5, or I guess they're probably working 10-hour days, 12-hour days. It's just, you know, it needs to be more than that. So
do you think that because right now, like I know that something that they've told me whenever I started in this position was that they had their head down for a long time, not showcasing the work that they've done, and then the work that they've accomplished, and the awards that they've received. So
yeah, I would just go backwards. Just take a time machine. Just take a time machine and go backwards a little bit, because you can showcase all the cool things, and you get here's all the stuff that you know, that we've done. Blah 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 blah. That could be one video or you know, series of videos. But realistically, it's like who they are now. And so if I was in your shoes and I was over marketing, and it sounds like you're marketing HR is what it is, the first thing what I do is, how can we actually create content with the current employees that we have, right? So it's like showcasing what they do and doing that in the way, but also maybe, you know, doing it where you're bringing donuts to the job site and you're getting to see them a little bit differently, but you're able to get them to talk about the cool projects that they worked on. Oh, you worked on that one? Tell me about it. And they talk about that. That's great content. I don't care who you are. That's great content, but you're never going to get it if they're behind a machine and they're like, dude, we're at whatever time. But if you've designated time where they can take a break and you can pull in a couple of clips of, I heard you were on this job. How was it? And they can talk about it. And then you can showcase what happened in you know, all the stuff before. But they're doing it in retrospect. And then it's like, how is it to work here? Oh, it's great. I've been here 20 years, blah, 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 or 10 years, whatever. That's the type of content you need. If someone says, oh, it's stability, look at the big, amazing jobs that they've done. This is great. So.
Okay. One last thing, just to go off of getting content. I have my phone, and I have like the newer iPhone. Is there another camera that you recommend for these video?
You don't ever need anything more than that. If you need more than that, I would be very disappointed, because it's like, no, seriously, it does 4K, 60 frames per second. You don't need anything more than that. Now, the difference would be is getting better audio. And so I try to figure out different audio jacks that you can, because construction sites can be really loud.
Right.
But I would look at just either lapel options or something that can plug into the iPhone so that you can have directional audio. But other than that, I think you're fine.
And then are there certain apps that you would suggest in like video editing or anything like that? Or is it just putting into
Video Leap's probably the easiest one to navigate, but it's just easy, and you just do it right from your phone.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Derral. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Derral. Is there a way that people can reach out to you, Derral? How would you?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my website, derraleaves.com. I guess I can put it in the chat there. There it is, derraleaves.com, or you can just follow me on socials. But yeah. Okay. So they have some other books to still give away. I think they said they had a few, and so maybe you're one of those lucky winners. Who knows? But I appreciate everyone coming on and learning. Hopefully, I've inspired you a little bit just to think a little bit differently and not just conform to what you've been doing. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Derral. I think we all learned a lot today, and I appreciate everybody asking questions, and we will see you soon. Have a great week.
Real quick, if you would like a book, we do have a few extra. If you would like a book, please go in the chat and just say that you'd like a book if you're able to go pick them up. So go ahead and throw it in there. Amber will reach out to you. Thank you all very much. Again.
Okay. Bye now.
Thanks for joining us, Derral. Thank you, Marley.
All right, so Linda Gilray, I have a book for you, and Laura Dement, I have a book for you. Ashley Skaggs, I have a book for you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's it for now, but I'm going to keep writing down some names, and I will let you know if we still have some. So Thomas, maybe Tamisha. All right, and I'll write down some more. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll be in contact if you want a book. We appreciate you being here. Have a great day.
Thank you.